Good morning, everybody across the hear the sound of my voice. This is Danny Thompson from AroundTheAssociation.com, and this is the Around the Association NBA Morning Podcast for Tuesday, week number 1. It's actually the first full second Tuesday of the NBA season. And for the next 15 or so minutes, we're talking everything NBA from what you missed last night, and an 11-game slate in the NBA. A rare 11-game slate last night, but you had 5 games last night that were decided by 3 points or less. A couple games coming down to the buzzer. We also had a return of Russell Westbrook against his former team. We had the Clippers taking on the Hornets, among other games. So for the next 15 or so minutes, let's go ahead and catch you back up on what you missed around the association. Follow me on Twitter at Danny, D-A-N-Y, number 3 Thompson on Twitter, as well as Around the Association on Facebook, which is our Facebook page, which is Around the Association Radio, and AroundTheAssociation.com keeps you up to date with almost everything you possibly can find as a one-stop shop for everything NBA. So, last night was a very, very fun night. Like I said, a rare 11-game night, especially with Monday Night Football going on this early in the season. Let's catch you back up. In Detroit last night, the night started, like I said, with 5 games that were really close going down the stretch of the games going down to the end of the games last night. In Detroit, the Detroit Pistons and the Indiana Pacers played one of those one of those tight games that came down to the very finish. And with Derrick Rose's driving layup down the stretch with 26.4 seconds left, it held the Pacers to their 4th loss of the season. The Pistons have now, both their wins this season have come against the Pacers with a 96-94 victory over Indiana on Monday night. Well, the first game was to talk about this morning. Rose basically struggled. This is Derrick Rose, who we've watched the first 3 games this season, was putting up, insane numbers. It's not insane numbers, but he's doing it off the bench, averaging over 20 points a game off the bench. He struggled last night, 4-16 from the floor, but he came through when the Pistons needed it. Last night, Rose finished the game with 10 points, but that driving layup put the Pacers away last night. Andre Drummond, another huge game against the Pacers, 18 points, 18 rebounds. Christian Wood, a guy that Pistons fans have been waiting to come out, broke through last night, 19 points, 12 rebounds off the bench. For the second time in a week, the Pistons bench outplayed Indiana and just beat them down. Last night, they outscored them. I think it was 46 to 12 last night off the bench. Another big game from the Pistons bench last night. Detroit was missing Reggie Jackson once again, but like I said, huge differences down the stretch. Rose, like I said, with that big shot. And then Indiana had a chance to win the game. Malcolm Brogdon missed. Had a chance on the offensive rebound, and TJ Warren, who had another tough game scoring, couldn't put the ball back in the basket. Warren last night finished, he had 19 points. The scoring machine, it was 9 of 22, took a lot of bad shots. Malcolm Brogdon, who had a big game the other night for Indiana, finished 5 of 17 from the floor. He had 15 points and 11 assists, but like I said, the Pistons held on at home 96-94 over the Pacers. And another game that came down to the stretch, and this one was a very interesting finish to this one. The San Antonio Spurs hold on to beat the Portland Trail Blazers by the score of 113-110 last night. And when I say hold on, it was a scary situation. The Spurs were up 19 points with 5 minutes to go, and then Damian Lillard just went off. Lillard scored 18 consecutive points in the fourth quarter and had 2 chances to tie the game in the final 5 seconds. He missed 2 3-pointers, literally, and they were close. The last one went in and out. Literally, the ball was in the cylinder, rolled out, and then rolled back out. Lillard finished the game with a team high last night. He had 28 points, like I said, he scored 18 consecutive points at one point in the fourth quarter. CJ McCollum had 27 up to that point. The Spurs almost gave this game away. Even though they were up most of the game and dominated most of the game, DeMar DeRozan had 27 points. DeRozan had chances to ice the game. He missed 2 free throws. The Spurs couldn't find shots down the stretch. If it wasn't for Derek White, who had 21 points and a huge floater he had with a minute to go, the Blazers had so much momentum that built up. It was a bad finish for the Spurs last night. In a game the Spurs should not have won. I mean, they were dominating, and then, like I said, Lillard had just rose up and just took the game over. And like I said, it was seconds away from being a catastrophe in San Antonio, one of those unexcusable losses that you don't have especially when the Spurs tried to empty the bench with 5 minutes to go. Almost improbable comeback. Speaking of comebacks, the Utah Jazz squeaked out a 96-95 win over the Indiana Pacers. Donovan Mitchell ended up splitting a 1-and-1 with about less than a second to go. He was trying to get to the rim and then kind of couldn't finish it at the rim, but he hit the 1-and-1, and then there wasn't enough time for the Suns to get a shot off. But Mitchell normally reliable with 4 of 8 from the free throw line last night, but he came through when they needed the most. He was going to the rim, attacking rookie Javon Carter, and he got to the rim, got fouled. That was pretty much it. Mitchell finished the game with 25 points. Bojan Bogdanovic at 29 points to lead the Jazz last night. Mike Conley struggled again last night. 1 point in 21 minutes. I don't know what was going on with Mike Conley, but it's not been pretty. Conley has just struggled. I mean, severely struggled his first 4 games. And for a team like the Jazz, they need Mike Conley. They need Mike Conley for this to work. They brought him in for that last reason, to be able to help out Donovan Mitchell in situations like this. But even with him only scoring 1 point, it was 1 point more to help the Suns, to beat the Suns. The Suns, who have been actually a lot better. I mean, I had the Suns predicted preseason the worst team in the NBA, have been competitive in every game. They returned Ricky Rubio back to the lineup. Rubio had 10 points, 10 rebounds, 8 assists off in his first game back after missing the last 2. Devin Booker had a team-high 21 points. They got contributions from everywhere last night. Kelly Oubre had 18. Javon Carter had 15 off the bench. But, like I said, Mitchell draw the foul with 0.4 seconds, even though that head coach Monty Williams wanted it to be around a little bit more than a second and a half, which would have gave the Suns a chance to win the game at home. 96-95, the Jazz are now at 3-1 on the season. Speaking of close finishes, out in Atlanta, the Atlanta Hawks got off to a big start against the Philadelphia 76ers, but it was the Sixers who came through down the stretch in the clutch. Joel Embiid knocked down 2 free throws with 6 seconds left in the game, and the Hawks' Vince Carter 3-point shot was off the mark as the Sixers still stay undefeated, being the undefeated Hawks at the time, 105-103 in Atlanta. Trae Young, a guy who's averaging 38 points a game, got off to a hot start. He cooled down in the second half, only had 5 points in the second half. Young finished with 25 points and 9 assists. But the Sixers defense did a tremendous job with Young in the second half. Like I said, most of those points came in the first half. For the Sixers, 36-13 from Joel Embiid in his first game back from injury. There was no restriction. Embiid was just phenomenal. The only thing Joel did wrong to me the whole night was shoot that off-balance 3 with less than 10 seconds left. That gave the Hawks one final chance, another chance to try to tie the game. It was an up and down, back and forth playoff atmosphere. It seemed like the Sixers are playing these types of games all since the season started. And this is the type of game the Hawks, they won the other night because of stuff like this, but last night, they couldn't get it done. I think this might be a sign of growth for Atlanta. I'll say this. Trae Young is a monster. I mean, he hits shot after shot after shot. They get guys open. They have, the ability to make plays. And really, like I said, it was a 2-point game where Trae Young got fouled. 3-point game. Young gets fouled. He misses the second part of a 1-and-1. And John Collins tipped the ball in. But the Sixers fought back. Atlanta was up by 8 points with 6 minutes to go. And you got to give the Sixers credit. It was it was a 15-3 run to close the game out. Atlanta had this game won, just kind of like San Antonio did. But 105-103 was the final in Atlanta. Orlando falls in Toronto, 105-94. The Magic had every opportunity to win this game, could not knock shots down the stretch. Kyle Lowry once again. Was Kyle Lowry, 26 points to lead the Toronto Raptors. The Orlando Magic are the only team in the NBA so far this season that has not cracked the 100-point barrier this season. Offense has been a problem in Orlando. They just could not hit shots. Jonathan Isaac had a career high for the Magic last night, 24 points and 7 rebounds. But Nikola Vucevic's struggles against the Toronto Raptors continue. Even since the playoffs last year, it's been a nightmare for Vucevic going against Marc Gasol. It's like a house of horrors against Gasol, and last night wasn't no better. 1 of 13 for Vucevic. Aaron Gordon's 1 of 6. Aaron Gordon is struggling right now. The Magic need to have Aaron Gordon Aaron Gordon needs to find his jump shot. He's only averaging 7 points a game, but he's shooting a career low 29.2% from the floor. Gordon was bad again last night. It's not been pretty for the Magic so far. It's not because of lack of trying. And Evan Fournier had a good game last night. Markelle Fultz, 13 points, 5 rebounds, outstanding tip back in the fourth quarter. The Magic had a chance to extend the lead. Aaron Gordon missed a huge 3-pointer, and the Raptors go off on a big stretch. That 3-pointer miss by Gordon the Magic were just now trying to take control of the game. Gordon missed the 3-pointer. It was about the 3-minute mark of the game when Gordon missed that 3-pointer. And then once he missed it, it was really at that. Gordon missed 3 minutes left in the game. The Raptors did at that point, because the Magic were up 91-90. The Raptors finished the game on a 14-4 run, closed out. Kyle Lowry knocked down a 3-pointer. Actually, Lowry scored like 5 consecutive points at one point, and then Siakam hit a huge jump shot. A 7-0 run in about 75 seconds put the game away. And the Magic are now 1-2. They'll continue with the game against the Knicks on Thursday night in Orlando. In the return game of the night, Oklahoma City falls short to Houston 116-112. James Harden finally found a shot. 40 points from James Harden last night. His 5th consecutive 40-point game, a 39-point game or more against the Oklahoma City Thunder. And he has a chance, which is more against any other team in the league. Russell Westbrook fell 1 assist short of a triple-double. And it was one of those games where the Houston Rockets just out-Houston Rockets anybody else. The shot was falling for Harden, who finished the game with 8 of 21, but he got to the line 22 times. Russell Westbrook had a couple of huge jumpers down the stretch of the lane. And PJ Tucker is actually finding a scoring streak. 3 consecutive games over 15 points for Tucker. He had 17 points, 9 rebounds, but a huge 3-pointer late in the game. Oklahoma City was led by Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, 22 points, 9 rebounds. Dennis Schroeder had 22 points and 7 assists off the bench. Chris Paul against his former team, it wasn't pretty. 6 of 14, even though it was 6 of 14 from the floor. 15 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, but he also had 6 turnovers. And the problem Oklahoma City was last night, it wasn't the number of turnovers, it's that Chris Paul had 6 of them, including bad passes down the stretch. It wasn't a typical Chris Paul game, and the Rockets, finally found the rhythm. The Rockets are 2-1. And Russell Westbrook and James Harden are starting to figure this out. The one thing the Houston Rockets need is to find that third consistent scorer. Eric Gordon is starting to break out of shooting slump. He was 4 of 11 last night for 10 points. It's a positive sign, trending in the right direction. Other games last night, the last game of the night was the LA Clippers take on the Charlotte Hornets. Clippers hold on 111-96. Clippers got off to a big start. Hornets shut back in it, but it was just too much Kawhi Leonard. Leonard finished the game with 30 points. Again, the Clippers are looking like a different team. And Paul George isn't even back yet, and that's just telling you how scary the Clippers are. Defensively, they were everywhere. Lou Williams scored 23 points off the bench. This is a type of team that they're stacked and they're figuring themselves out before Paul George even gets here. They got 19 points from Montrezl Harrell, a couple huge shots in the fourth quarter, had 8 in the fourth quarter. Landry Shamet also had 16 points in the game for them as well, too. It was really, for the most part, a up and down Clippers game that, like I said, the Hornets had a lead into the second quarter. Clippers took over the game at the end, going into halftime, and just pretty much cruised after that. Hornets were led by Devontae Graham off the bench. 14 points, 12 rebounds, 12 assists. Terry Rozier had a solid game scoring. Hornets had 6 guys in double figures, and there was a Malik Monk signing because he had 15 points off the bench for the Hornets. Hornets now fall to 1-3. Out in Sacramento, the Denver Nuggets hold on, and it wasn't really the prettiest of games, 101-94 against the Kings, who still have not won a game. And really, it was a slow start for the Nuggets, but a slow start for the Nuggets, and Nikola Jokic only had 9 points. That just tells a testament of how good the Nuggets as a full team was last night. Jamal Murray led them in scoring last night with 18 points. They got 17 from Gary Harris. It was pretty much contributions from everybody. Everybody who actually played more than 10 minutes scored. It was a deeper bench for the Nuggets tonight and to beat an outman Sacramento Kings team. But the Kings got 24 points and 13 rebounds from Rashawn Holmes off the bench. He was a piece of energy everywhere with tip-back dunks and just showing that he deserves more playing time. And a guy that I thought was going to step in and have way better games with Marvin Bagley being out for the next couple of weeks. Buddy Yield still struggling from the floor. 2 of 13 last night, 5 points. Ever since Buddy got the contract, Buddy Buckets hasn't been much of anything. Neither has anybody on the Kings anyway. The Kings are now still winless at 0-4 on the season. And out in New Orleans, the Golden State Warriors and the New Orleans Pelicans, somebody had to win. Warriors hold on. Warriors cruised 134, 123. Steph Curry, 26 points, 11 assists for the Warriors in that game. The Pelicans are struggling. The Pelicans miss Zion. And once again, Alvin Gentry's rotation was just bad. Pelicans got down early. There was nothing they could do to stop the Golden State Warriors last night. The Warriors led from start to finish last night. Huge second quarter, 45-32. And Draymond Green looked like the Draymond Green of old. 16 points, 17 rebounds, 10 assists in the center position. D'Angelo Russell had 24 points, 7 rebounds, 8 assists. This is the Warriors team we expected. Even Damian Lee, a guy that normally doesn't get that many minutes, he had 23 points, 11 rebounds off the bench for the Warriors. This, like the Warriors team that we've seen for the last few years. I'm still saying there's some red flags in Oakland, but there's even more red flags out in New Orleans because New Orleans can't seem to find ways to stop anybody. Another team scoring over 130 points. The Warriors, I think it's the third team to score over 120 this season. No, the Pelicans have given up over 120 points in every single game this season, actually. They had 27 points, 10 rebounds, 6 assists from Brandon Ingram, 19 points from Jackson Hayes off the bench in his first chance at extended minutes as well for the New Orleans Pelicans. Final game we have not talked about before we get into the Tuesday games. The Milwaukee Bucks took care of the business over the Cleveland Cavaliers, 129-112. Giannis, the first thing Giannis didn't do last night was foul out. First game of the season that Giannis has not fouled out. He finished actually in control last night, 14 points, 10 rebounds, 7 assists. Chris Middleton had 21 points to lead the Bucks. But Milwaukee in this game really just controlled the tempo. They were able to get up and down the floor. And this looked the Milwaukee team that we saw all of last year. The first 2 games of the year, the Bucks have found ways to keep these games close. Giannis fouls out, and the Bucks had to find a way to do it. But last night, they did not have to have Giannis foul out. Giannis only had 2 fouls. But everybody else in Milwaukee finally stepped up to take some of the pressure off Giannis. The Bucks had 7 guys in double figures last night, and all the guys in double figures had over 14 or more points. Kyle Korver had 9, but so that just shows you the depth and the scoring depth for the Cavs, for the Bucks last night with the Cavs. The Bucks led this game pretty much from the end of the first quarter on through the rest of the game. Huge stretches of games that just pretty much points that put the game away. 129-112 was the final. Kevin Love had 15 points, 16 rebounds. Tristan Thompson had another big game, 17 points, 13 rebounds. Speaking of Tristan Thompson, Thompson's playing the best basketball of his career right now. Averaging a career high 19 points and 12 and a half rebounds. We all, in the first 4 games this season, we all know Tristan Thompson's a rebounding machine, but Tristan Thompson's looking really good on the offensive end. He's just taking the ball up and getting putbacks and getting more confidence. He even led the Cavaliers in shots last night with 8. I mean, he hit 8 of 18 last night. Took 18 shots. So this is really a rarity for a guy like Thompson. Final game of the night, Knicks over the Bulls, 105-98 in the Bobby Portis return game. Portis finally broke free. Bobby Portis, 28 points, 11 rebounds for the Knicks last night. The Knicks in the offseason signed so many power forwards. Portis was one of the ones kind of lost in the shuffle early in the season. Portis played 28 minutes off the bench. Mitchell Robinson had 10 points, still recovering off the ankle injury. Wasn't truly effective. He had 10 points in there, but wasn't truly effective. It was mostly Portis on the interior, and RJ Barrett was everywhere on the outside. Barrett played 40 minutes, which is kind of a rarity nowadays for young guys. But 40 minutes from Barrett last night, 19 points, 15 rebounds, 5 assists. The first Knick to do it since Bill Cartwright. Yes, I said it, Bill Cartwright. Bulls last night were led by Zach LaVine's 21 points and Wendell Carter Jr. at 20 points and 10 rebounds. The Knicks finally get a win at home. And it was a game, like I said, it was a Bobby Portis game. He was inside, knocked down some huge shots, including the big go-ahead 3-pointer in minute 47 left in the game. The Knicks finally win a game to break the snide. The Bulls are struggling. After a game they should have blown in Charlotte, they won their second game, have not played well the last 2 games, and really have not found an offensive rhythm. Zach LaVine still isn't the Zach LaVine I was expecting him to be in the first 4 games of the season. He's got to pick it up. One good thing about Bobby Portis is that he only had 18 points in the first 3 games, but had 28 last night. Now, we're going into the second Tuesday of the NBA season. Coming on tonight, it's a light schedule 3 games on the schedule tonight, 2 games on NBA TV. Hawks at the Heat. The Jimmy Butler return game. Butler returns after missing the first couple of games of the season due to the birth of his child. Takes on Atlanta Hawks team playing on a back-to-back. Key Southeast Division matchup. That game will be at 7:30 NBA TV. Of course, Dallas and Denver go on NBA League Pass at 9 o'clock tonight. That's going to be an up and down affair. Both teams are looking really, really good. Nuggets are undefeated, still one of the 2 undefeated teams in the NBA at 3-0. The Mavericks are 2-1 behind the combination of Luka Doncic and Kristaps Porzingis. And the late game, if you want to stay up to watch the Memphis Grizzlies take on the LA Lakers. Potentially Rajon Rondo returns for the LA Lakers tonight from a calf injury. And the Memphis Grizzlies won their last game because of Jay Crowder's buzzer beater against the Brooklyn Nets on Sunday. So, tell me how your favorite team did last night. We want to know. Leave your comments below. Share the podcast below. Because guess what? It's free. It's free and everybody can listen to. So, we'll catch you guys tomorrow. I said, so much more in-depth show tomorrow because there's only 3 games on the schedule. This is Around the Associated, the podcast. I'm Danny Thompson. I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Oh yeah, don't forget to follow me on Twitter at Danny, D-A-N-Y, the number 3, Thompson on Twitter, and AroundTheAssociation.com and Around the Association on Facebook. I'll see you guys tomorrow morning. Happy basketball. Peace.